Return and Betrayal. After returning to the Hawaiian Islands with new ammo from his mission in Zamboanga, Kaiana, Jason Momoa, is dealt a personal blow. There is intense emotional tension when he learns that his wife, Kupuohi, has moved on with his half-brother, Namake. The stakes are raised as he must participate in a risky task to demonstrate his commitment to Kamehameha's counsel. Kamehameha vs. Keoua Rivalry. Keoua and Kamehameha's tension increases throughout the episode. After learning that Kamehameha was given the title of God of War by his father, Keoua declares war, igniting an inevitable internal struggle within Hawaii. A dramatic showdown is promised in this power fight. King Kahekili's Aspirations. Using the ammunition he has collected and Kaiana's reappearance, King Kahekili gets his army ready to attack Hawaii. As political tensions rise as Kahekili seeks to establish his supremacy, expect a bloody showdown. Kahumanu's developing role. Kamehameha's queen, Kahumanu, persists in her subdued resistance by advising him to follow his own instincts rather than seeking heavenly direction. Her changing role suggests that she may be moving into a more active military and political strategy, which could influence the island's union. Cinematic and cultural depth. With sweeping shots and native actors, the episode, like the series, is renowned for its breathtaking cinematography and dedication to true Hawaiian cultural depiction. Despite the series' sometimes overpowering plotlines, this episode stands out for striking a balance between rich conversation and violent action. 2. The Declaration of War by Kiwa. Sibling rivalry intensifies. A major tension in the series, the rivalry between Keoua and Kamehameha is intensified in this episode. When Keoua finds out that Kamehameha, not him, was given the revered title of God of War by their father, his animosity reaches a pinnacle. Keoua's decision to declare war is fueled by this revelation, which creates the conditions for a frontal conflict that could further splinter the Hawaiian Islands. Keoua's actions in Episode 5 most likely involve mobilizing his allies and getting ready for a military offensive against Kamehameha. This is an example of strategic maneuvering. With alliances and betrayals influencing the power dynamics, this subplot will highlight the political intrigue of the time. Anticipate stressful council moments and strategic talks that emphasize how important this internal struggle is. 3. The power play of King Kahekili. Military buildup. King Kahekili, a strong adversary from Maui, takes advantage of the new ammunition and Kaiana's return. In order to take advantage of the internal conflicts between Kamehameha and Keoua, he readies his army for an assault on Hawaii. The episode is made more urgent by this outside threat, and Kahekili's warriors are probably seen preparing for a big, dramatic battle. Tactical advantage. The characters are faced with moral and strategic dilemmas as a result of the introduction of contemporary ammunition through Kaiana, which implies a move toward more destructive combat. Kahekili's desire to rule the islands will probably end on a cliffhanger, laying the groundwork for a significant war scene in subsequent episodes. 4. The increasing impact of Kahumanu. Defying tradition, Kamehameha's queen, Kahumanu, remains a pivotal character throughout the tale. She gently questions the need for heavenly direction in Episode 5, advising Kamehameha to have faith in his own discernment. She starts to establish herself outside of her duty as a royal consort, which is a turning point in her story. Political strategy. Kahumanu's increasing power suggests that she may be actively influencing Kamehameha's choices, including participating in diplomatic or military plans. She stands out in this episode because of her nuanced portrayal of a heroine who strikes a balance between her personal goals for a united Hawaii and her devotion to her spouse. 5. Highlights in culture and film. Genuine representation. Similar to the series, the episode places a strong emphasis on genuine aspects of Hawaiian culture, such as language and customs. The Race of the Gods demonstrates the series' dedication to indigenous storytelling by presumably incorporating ancient customs, perhaps a ceremonial or competitive event connected to Hawaiian mythology. Magnificent images. The series' expansive cinematography has received high appreciation from critics, and Episode 5 is anticipated to have stunning shots of the Hawaiian countryside, dramatic action scenes, and elaborate set designs. In order to portray the combat of the time, the struggle Kaiana faces and the impending battle preparations will probably be visual spectacles that combine real-world effects with computer-generated imagery. Emotional and political equilibrium. The episode strikes a balance between intense character moments and high-stakes action. Episode 5 is seen as a unified high point, fusing personal dramas, Kaiana's betrayal, Kamehameha's defiance, with the larger political and military struggles, despite the series' periodic criticism for juggling too many stories. 6. Depth of theme. The episode examines the conflict between Kamehameha's ideal of bringing the Hawaiian Islands together and the forces that threaten to do so, both internal, Keoua's insurrection, and exterior, Kahekili's aspirations. This greater concept is reflected in Kaiana's personal challenges as he balances his allegiance to his family, his love, and his country. Modernity versus tradition. The advent of contemporary munitions raises concerns about cultural adaptation and preservation by contrasting traditional Hawaiian warfare with the expanding impact of foreign technology. Power and sacrifice, whether personal, Kaiana's emotional torment, or political, Kamehameha's leadership burdens, the race of the gods, challenge and the impending conflict highlight the sacrifices necessary for power. Kani is in Zamboanga looking for his friend Tony, who vanished. When Tony stole the maps to the Hawaiian Islands, his old shipmate Marley handed him up to slave traders. Kani found women, children, and even infants in cages, bound, while conducting his search. Something unfamiliar to him has angered him. A slave merchant thwarts his attempts to free the populace. After beating the trader, Kani flees. He is the target of a manhunt by the Spanish troops. Kani encounters a shipwrecked Hawaiian woman named Via in Samoanga, who has acquired the firearms she was promised in return for a share in the sandalwood trade. The search for Kani is causing anxiety for Kani's ship captain. The Spanish will stop him from leaving port, he fears. He makes the decision to leave Zamboanga that evening, whether Kani and his firearms are present or not. Although Via begs Kani to stop looking for Tony and board the ship, he is unwilling to part with his companion. There is a storehouse where traders kept slaves locked up until they could be sold away, Via informs Kani. The episode starts slowly but picks up speed as it goes along. The romance between Namake and Kupuohi bogs down the narrative somewhat and seems unnecessary. The audience should assume there is a payoff for this story arc in future episodes.